Men can't take care of a house and clean, and things like that. They don't know how, and they're just not as careful.
I think women will always be better secretaries than men. For one thing, they type better. I guess it has something to do with coordination.
Coordination. That's what sports take. And women just don't have it.
Girls are just smarter, I guess. I mean, they always do better in English and reading, so they must be smarter, right?
There aren't that many women lawyers because, look, let's face it, law schools are hard, and men just think more logically than women.
I really don't think a man would make a very good nurse. It takes so much patience. And besides, we just have a natural feel for it.
Everyone knows a woman wouldn't make a good mechanic. They don't understand engines, and I'm sure they couldn't handle the heavy stuff.
There's lots of jobs that just aren't for women. Well, like police work, it's just too rough. And carpentry, you've got to be good with tools, and you've got to be strong.
I've been doing this job for almost a year now, and some people still give me a hard time. There are a few who just flat feel a woman shouldn't be doing this. You know, it's man's work. And some who, whenever I foul up on something, say, "See, that's a woman for you," as if a man never made a mistake. But most of the people I work with have accepted me as a carpenter who happens to be a woman. Sure, I need help lifting a large beam or putting a heavy cabinet in place, but I do the same for the men, sometimes. Besides, I've built my strength up so I can handle most of the stuff myself. Of course, it'll take me years to work my way up to foreman. There are just a lot of men around who have much more experience than I do. But with more women becoming carpenters and getting experience, one day I'm sure there'll be just as many women foremen as men. And you know, it's not just the money. I really do enjoy the work.
When Mom first went back to work, I didn't like it. It was kind of strange walking home to an empty house after school. I had to start fixing my own breakfast and packing my lunch. And if I missed the bus, well, she couldn't take me like she used to. There's just a lot of stuff Mom used to take care of that I have to do now. In a way, it's good, though, because Mom does seem happier. And I always look forward to her coming home and telling me about her day. She's usually pretty tired, but you can tell she's doing something she likes. And she's taught me a lot about carpentry, so it's working out okay.
With both of us working, it does create problems. There's no doubt about it. Like, who picks up Susan at school? Or who stays home when one of the kids is sick? Who fixes dinner, or buys the groceries, or cleans the house? But we're getting along okay. We try to divide the work equally, and the kids help out a lot. There have been a lot of changes, and they haven't all been easy. But the house isn't falling apart, and we still have time for the kids, so I'd say we've all adjusted pretty well.
I just never thought sports were as much fun as music. I'm okay in most sports, but I just like this better. Sometimes I get made fun of because I want to play the flute instead of playing baseball. I really get down when I get teased like that. Why do people think all boys are supposed to love sports? It just so happens I don't. But when people give me a hard time, I just try to ignore it. I really like music, and I'm getting a group together, and someday we're going to be dynamite.
When I look back at all the changes since I started teaching, it's really amazing. A lot of people's attitudes have changed about girls and boys, and men and women for that matter. And it's not just attitudes that have changed. Laws have been passed so that men and women will be given equal opportunities. But even though laws and attitudes are changing, well, there are still some people who think things should go back to the way they were. You know, like elementary school teachers should be women. I guess that's because of what they grew up with. Even to this day, when I go into the faculty cafeteria to have lunch, I don't feel like I'm really accepted as just another teacher. It's a headache sometimes, but I don't let other people's prejudice stop me. Besides, I'm probably making it easier for the next man who teaches here. Someday, people will just be interested in whether or not someone's a good teacher, not whether they're a man or woman.
I've been practicing law for about 20 years. When I first started off, it was very unusual to see a woman in a career like this. You have to realize that a lot of things hadn't really opened up for women till just recently. Why, it's only about 60 years since we've been able to vote. A lot of people's attitudes, well, they haven't changed that much. Take the case I'm working on now. The people weren't sure a woman lawyer could handle it. In fact, they almost went to another firm. The senior partner of my law firm had to assure them I was qualified. He even had to tell them I graduated tops in my class. See, it's still hard sometimes. A woman has to be the best just to be accepted. But now and then, I remind myself we're moving in the right direction. Most people's attitudes are changing and laws are changing so women and men can do what's right for them. I guess whenever there's a change, there'll be some who don't want to accept it. But that hasn't stopped me, and I imagine it won't stop a lot of other people.